Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Dear students, I hope you are enjoying very good health. Today in our TEFL course, we are going to learn about culture, enculturation and acculturation. And we will also discuss the second language acquisition in the context of acculturation. So, this is a question for your brainstorming. Do we make culture or does culture make us? I think this is two-way process. We do and we make some values and we establish some rules and regulations and traditions which modify the culture, and in response, culture also modifies us. And this is the main cause and key concept of the survival of a culture and its society. So first of all, let us discuss what is culture. Culture is an umbrella term which encompasses the social behavior and norms found in human societies, as well as the knowledge, beliefs, arts, laws, customs, capabilities, habits, the eating and wearing clothes, habits, and individuals' behaviors. All these concepts make combinedly the culture. Humans acquire culture through the learning process of enculturation and socialization, which is shown by the diversity of cultures across societies. A cultural norm codifies acceptable conduct in society. It serves as a guideline for behavior, dress, language, and demeanor in a situation, which serves as a template for expectations in a social group. Accordingly, according to the suggestions of some critics, accepting only a monoculture in a social group can bear risks, just as a single species can wither in the face of environmental change for lack of functional responses to the change. So, if a culture is isolated, there is a risk to become that culture endangered. Now let us discuss enculturation. Simply, enculturation is the process by which a person adopts the behavior patterns of the culture he lives in. Simply, we can say that this is the culture of native people. And in contrast, let us see what is acculturation. Acculturation means simply one cultural group adopting the practices of another cultural group is an example of acculturation. Acculturation is a process of social, psychological, and cultural change that stems from the balancing of two cultures while adapting to the prevailing culture of the society. Acculturation is a process in which an individual adopts, acquires, and adjusts to a new cultural environment. Individuals of a differing culture try to incorporate themselves into the new, more prevalent culture by participating in aspects of the more prevalent culture, such as their traditions, but still hold on to their original cultural values and traditions. The effects of acculturation can be seen at multiple levels in both the devotee of the prevailing culture and those who are assimilating into the culture. Simply, we can say that enculturation means reinforcing the basic values, norms of the culture, and acculturation means when the values and norms outside culture are acquired. An other difference may be as soon as an individual is born, he or she begins to acquire the culture around him or her. With or without any influence means the adaptation of the native culture. So enculturation is an essential requirement for survival. And on the other hand, acculturation is not an essential phenomenon in life, but occurs when two cultures meet together. This is not an essential requirement for survival. So we can say that acculturation is the exchange of cultural features that results when groups of individuals having different cultures come into continuous first-hand contact. The original cultural patterns of either or both groups may be altered, but the groups remain distinct. Here I have a picture for you people for your brainstorming. Here the picture represents a single person, but he changes his physical appearance when he transforms from one culture to another culture. So it is up to you that what you interpret from this picture regarding enculturation and acculturation. This picture represents actually acculturation. More simply, we can say that acculturation is the adaptation and learning of a second culture. So now the first psychological theory of acculturation was proposed in W.I. Thomas and Florian in 1918 study. The Polish peasant in Europe and America. From studying Polish immigrants in Chicago, they illustrated three forms of acculturation corresponding to three personality types. First, Bohemian. The Bohemian people are who adopting the host culture and abandoning their culture of origin. They transform totally from one culture to another culture and abandon their first culture, their native culture. And second one is Philistine. They are who failing to adopt the host culture but preserving their culture of origin. Though they live in a foreign culture physically, but they do not adopt the habits and customs of foreign culture, but they make themselves isolated and do not intermingle themselves from the other culture. So those people are called, though they have influence of another culture on them, but they do not accept that culture. So those people are known as Philistines. Number 3 is creative type. They are the people who able to adapt to the host culture while preserving their culture of origin. We can say that they are multicultural people. Let us discuss 4 accultural strategies. First one is assimilation. Assimilation occurs when individuals adopt the cultural norms of a dominant or host culture over their original culture. Sometimes it is forced by governments. So assimilation means the people adopt the culture and its values of another nation. Separation means, second one is separation. Separation occurs when individuals reject the dominant or host culture in favor of preserving their culture of origin. Separation is often facilitated by immigration to ethnic enclaves. Number 3 is integration. It occurs when individuals are able to adopt the cultural norms of the dominant or host culture while maintaining their culture of origin. Integration leads to and is often synonymous with biculturalism. So the people becomes bicultural when they adopt the values of their own culture as well as the values and traditions of another culture. They are bicultural people. And number 4 is marginalization. It occurs when individuals reject both their culture of origin and the dominant host culture. They reject the traditions and norms of both of the cultures. They are called marginalized people. Okay, now the study of acculturation helps in selecting the culture and values. It helps in leading cooperation, attitude, and relationship between society. It develops development, acquiring knowledge and skills, and acculturation creates development of technical and scientific skills. It helps in social adjustment and assimilation. It helps in self-awareness and personal growth, also the growth of the society. It helps in acquiring new knowledge and languages. So we can say that education of acculturation opens new ways of learning for the people, not only learning of a new language but also the ideas of the people of the other cultures as well. So all this study data has been collected from the sites that I am going to refer you people for further discussion and study. You can click any one of them and can study more about culture, acculturation and enculturation. And in the end, I would like to say, stay always blessed and remember me in your prayers. Thank you so much and Allah Hafiz.